I'm being joined by Major Mohammad Ali Shah also on the broadcast with me. Major Shah, your condolences to the families and the ones who are bereaving the deaths of the 13 armed personnel. I just have to request you to unmute yourself.
Am I
Yes, you're audible
on
now.
mute?
Yes, you're
Okay.
audible now.
Firstly, I would like to express my heartfelt condolence to Mrs. Madhulika Rawat, the wife of General Bipin Rawat and General Bipin Rawat, Brigadier LS Leader, Colonel Lieutenant Colonel H. Singh, Wing Commander P.S. Chauhan, Squadron Leader H. Singh, K. Singh, Junior Warrant Officer Das, Junior Warrant Officer Pradeep
But I
Singh.
witnessed right now on our screens, Major Shah, the wife of Brigadier Leader and their daughter present. They obviously cannot control their tears. It's a very difficult moment. And as much of a brave face that you can put out for the public, the facade actually breaks as soon as the reality hits you.
Martyrs are brave, there's no doubt about that fact. Their families are the bravest, and only they would know what they are feeling right now at this point of time. And I was going through the names of the martyrs apart from General Bipin Rawat also. So just allow me for a second, please. Havildar Satpal, Naik Gursevak Singh, Naik Jitendra Ji, Lance Naik Vivek Ji, Lance Naik S. Teja. I express my heartfelt condolence to their brave families. It's an irreparable loss for all of you, in fact, all of you. And the whole nation is there for you all in these troubled times. Let me tell you all one more thing for the families. Yes, it's very difficult, it's a very, very hard time, but it is an honor for any soldier to go with their uniform on. And the soldiers went in the line of duty with their uniform on. So yes, there is mourning. We must mourn. There's no doubt about that fact. But listen, we have to accept life and death in one. It's a part of life, and it is irreparable. There's no doubt. I am always an optimist, and I am saying right now, I am bereaved. Well, I knew General Mrs. Bipin Rawat personally, and my interaction with them about our previous formation, 3 Corps, was something which we had very fond memories about. And now let me tell you one more thing. How can a man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? So it is a sad moment, no doubt. But I would also say at the same time, these are the real heroes of our country. And yes, we are mourning. Yes, inquiry will come out, and the nation needs to know what exactly happened.
You're right. You're right, Major Shah. You're right, Major Shah.
Their family means
yes.
Not just the
At this point in time, but the families do need the consolation at this point of time. You can actually witness on your screens that is the wife, the bereaving wife and daughter of Brigadier Leader. The daughter could not hold back her tears, and neither could the mother over there. And that's a difficult moment. That's a moment that it cannot actually be described. It's something that's heartfelt, and no amount of solace, no amount of consolation, no amount of encouragement is going to allow you to pass that moment, feel the pain that one feels. Major Ali Shah, your thoughts about these dramatic visuals that are playing on our screens?
Megha, since you mentioned the dramatic visuals, yes, it is really heartbreaking. And there's a small poem I would like to dedicate in the honor of the martyrs over here. This poem is not my own poem. It's written on the internet by, I think, someone by the name of Mr. B. Kumar. A few lines in their honor. We both left home at 18. You cleared the prestigious JEE. I cleared the entrance test of UPSC. You got through IIT. I got through NDA. Your day started at 9 and ended at 5. Mine started at 5 and went on beyond 9, which meant I had to stay up many a nights. You were given the best job on campus. I was pipped with 2 stars on my shoulders, which I perceive is worth more than $1 million in the sky. You went on luxurious business trips. I went to the rugged line of control. We both celebrated festivals. You celebrated festivals with your families. I celebrate festivals with my comrades in underground bunkers, with firearms, and played with my life. We both returned. Both wives couldn't control the tears. And you hugged her. I couldn't. You wiped your tears. I couldn't because my bullet-ridden body was lying in the coffin and the coffin was wrapped in the tricolor. My way of life ended. Yours continued. We both left home at 18. This is dedicated to all our brave Indian Army soldiers who grieve when their loved ones die, who grieve when their loved ones get martyrdom, but who never give up fighting, who are warriors at heart. As I said earlier, martyrs are brave, their families are the bravest, and hold strong. Just hold strong. It's easier said than done. But yes, our whole nation is with you, and these people are true heroes. They have become immortal. Their name goes down in the history of India forever. General Bipin Rawat being the first CDS, and right from his PSOs, the aviators, everyone who was accompanying him, everyone is a true hero. And a special, I don't know what to say, for Group Captain Varun Singh, the son of an army officer. We are all praying for his speedy recovery, who has been sent for treatment to Bangalore. He will soon be with us. He will soon be with us. He is already with us in spirit. He is going to be with us. There is no doubt. Let's all send them positive energies now. Let's all pray.
In fact, that poem, Major Shah, actually had goosebumps on my entire body. You've very tactfully described the life of an army Jawan. How difficult, how tenuous it is, not just for the man who's fighting along the borders, but for the families who continue to sacrifice day in and day out, every single day that they spend in absence of their loved ones. Major Ali Shah, if you're still on the broadcast with us, obviously after these memorials and the last respects and the last rites and the funerals processions complete, our focus is going to be back on the court of inquiry that is taking place since the day 8th December, yesterday the crash took place. There is a lot of significance and cruciality that is going to be the focus point, but the other focus point is also going to be that the swift and urgent appointment of an interim CDF until a permanent one can be appointed by the Government of India.
Absolutely correct. Very well said by you, Megha. And and as Dylan Parihal rightly said, that martyrs never die, they become legends and live in our hearts and minds forever. And the people who are gathered there right now, who are there to pay their honors and the respect to the martyrs, I would tell them, when you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today. Now, having said that, Megha, yes, an immediate selection of the next CDS is going to be on, and people have already started speculating, but still too premature. The government is at liberty to take whichever name they want to appoint whoever they want to. And yes, there are a few names in the grapevine, which is not confirmed, but they're in the grapevine. So, Air Marshal Baduria's name is doing the rounds, General Narwane's name is doing the rounds. Now, General Narwane is the senior most chief of the army staff currently at the moment. So if the serving chiefs have to be appointed, the other two chiefs, the naval chief and the air force chief, have just taken over as chiefs. Now, General Baduria had just retired, and of course his name is doing around. So, and CDS is a very, very integral and important appointment to bridge the gap between the top brass of the politician on top and the Indian Army. It makes a big difference when you have a man in uniform who you can connect and relate with, who understands, who has been through the same academy, the same training, the same postings, the same culture as you. It makes a world of a difference there.
Yes.
And yes, he is going to be, now China has just integrated the Air Force and the Army recently, just a couple of days back. India did it way back. India did it a couple of years back. So yes, and General Bipin Narwane was the man like a tiger who spoke in the year 2017 of a 2.5 front war. One side in China, one side Jammu Kashmir, or the internal enemies in Jammu Kashmir, basically, the militancy, the crossover from Pakistan I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And on the other side, Pakistan. So 2.5 front war. And we are totally ready for it. He has helped modernize the military into a large extent.
Yeah.
Not only the army.
And full credit to him. And
full credit to him,
as much praise as we bestow upon him would be less. Major Ali Shah, it's interesting that Sir has mentioned about the significance of the position that he held as the Chief of Defence Staff. Obviously, the lot of anti-insurgency operations that he had heralded, he was commissioned to take forward, and he ended up coming back in flying colors. Every single of his operations has been successful and hit the enemy hard.
Megha, you know, one such incident I'll tell you about. General Bipin Rawat he had commanded the 3 Corps in Nagaland. In fact, the same place where I was ADC to the GOC in Nagaland in the year 2006, 2008. I was there, and in fact, General Parihar was there with us. We had done a medical camp together. And that time, the GOC whose command I was serving under, Lieutenant General Zamiruddin Shah, his personality was very, very similar in a way, their thought process, in the sense that, you know, a couple of things which General Bipin Rawat, being the GOC 3 Corps, and General Shah, being the GOC 3 Corps, had said.
And you would know that because you had close encounters with General Bipin Rawat, and General, he's your father himself. So you would know that so much better than anybody of us. And yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, Megha. So what General Shah had said, whenever were flying from, say, Dimapur, or we are going to Mizoram or Tripura or Manipur or to South Assam, which 4.5 states which the Corps used to cover, he would always say, never pressurize the pilot. If the pilot says there's bad weather, honor it, listen to it, and he is the captain of the ship. He is the boss while you are flying. And same thing, exactly same thing I had heard from General Bipin Rawat when I visited him. I had dinner with him at Spare Top at his residence, at the GOC 3 Corps residence in Rangapad in Dimapur. He said the same thing. He was saying, this bad weather over here. How was it in your time? How would you travel in the Cheetah helicopters? I told him, sir, this is what, that's exactly. And second thing, which General Shah also had said, and same thing Bipin Rawat had said, was when the locals over here, they see us, they should not actually, because Nagaland had ceasefire. So they should not feel intimidated of us. They should not feel that we are here to intimidate them. They should feel that the army is here to protect them. And because there's something known as a Stockholm syndrome in Nagaland, and it's all over, where people, if you capture, they take sympathy towards you because they feel they were expecting to be harmed by the one who's captivating them, but they develop sympathies for them. Similarly, he always spoke about the Stockholm syndrome. He said, if ever we catch anybody, let us not. He was with the iron hand in velvet gloves. I would say that. Because he always said, okay, bahar se kathor, andar se naram, like a coconut. He always, and you know, the best part, again, similarity of the 2 GOC 3 Corps. They knew every single person down at the grassroots by name. They would, every single sipai, they will not say, oh, so no, yeah, come here, no. They will call by the name. And when the moment you address a person by the name, he addresses. So there were 2 leaders. And one thing I learned again, they were not a boss.
Yeah.
They were leaders. The boss says I, the leader says we. The boss says get there on time. The leader gets there ahead of time. The boss lets the people know where they stand, where he stands. The leader lets the people know where they stand. The boss takes the credit, the leader gives it away.
I absolutely am in agreement with you, Major Shah. I'll just have to interrupt you, however. There is the cavalcade of the Prime Minister that has now arrived at the Palam Airport. So the Prime Minister will very shortly now be meeting with the families. He will be paying his last rites as well. He'll be paying his last respects as well to the martyred at the Palam Airport. Yes, go ahead, Major Ali, you were saying.
So they always spoke of leadership, of leading by personal example. Only if you know how to do a task better. I know they worked hands-on. There are very few generals I have seen who are pure soldiers. They would actually know the ground better, and they always spoke about one thing: know your men better than their own mothers and care for them even more. A very challenging, a very difficult task to do, but that is the acid test of a fine general. And that is what General Bipin Rawat was all about. He was a man he's a legendary figure. So that is why he goes down the history, not only as the first CDS of the army, but as the legend. And let me tell you, what I really, the whole nation is mourning, and I'm mourning, we're all mourning, but I think, anyone could not have asked to have left the world in a better way than this, for that matter. I'll tell you how. He left in his uniform, which he was very passionate about. He kicked the bucket with his boots on, which everyone actually wants to do. Nobody wants, they all want to go gracefully. They all want to go with honor. And he went with his life partner, which again, what a lot of people would want to crave to actually live the life that he lived. So instead of mourning, we have to, of course, we have to mourn. But not only mourn, but celebrate his life.
General Sanjay Soy, I'm coming back to you at this point of time. We're just reliving the fond memories that you all have had the opportunity to interact with, to become acquaintances, friends with General Bipin Rawat.
He was so down to earth. First thing is, he was a soldier, he was a leader, he was a visionary, he was a proactive, offensive, but with all that, he was absolutely down to earth. Major Shah had brought out, Captain Shah had brought out that he would remember name.
Absolutely right. In fact, we were playing visuals right after another of that entire cavalcade of the carriages of the buses that had brought the dead bodies from Wellington right into Sulur Air Base, and after the Sulur Air Base, which has travelled right up to the Palam Air Base, and now obviously the biggest heads of the state paying their homage, paying their last respects, including the Prime Minister, including the Defence Minister, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval now paying his last respects, going to every single one of the coffins and offering flowers as his homage.
Megha,
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Major Ali. Yes, the entire nation is in mourning, and it's only befitting. Like I'll say, it's keeping with the stature, it's keeping with the great patriot that General Bipin Rawat was.
Absolutely, Megha. And right now on your screen, you can see the Prime Minister putting flowers, putting the wreath on the brave hearts. Now, Megha, there was a poem which I had learned in school, which all of us would have learned. It's written by Makhan Lal Chaturvedi. Pushp ki abhilasha. What these flowers? What they desire? They do not really desire to be put on warriors' bodies, but they want to come under the feet of the soldiers who protect the motherland. The poem goes something like this. Let me see if I can still remember it. चाह नहीं मैं सुध बाला के गहनों में गूंदा जाऊं, चाह नहीं मैं प्रेमी माला में बिंद प्यारी को ललचाऊं, चाह नहीं सम्राटों के शव पर हे हरि डाला जाऊं, चाह नहीं देवों के सर पर चढ़ूं भाग्य पर इठलाऊं, मुझे तोड़ लेना वनमाली उस पथ पर देना तुम फेंक मातृभूमि पर शीश चढ़ाने जिस पथ जाए वीर अनेक. That is a poem I still remember from school, and that is because you mentioned about flowers. I said this is what it connects over here, and I think even the flowers today, right now, would be actually feeling honored that they are there, they've been plucked for the purpose of coming and be putting on the coffin of these brave hearts, Megha.
You once again, beautifully encapsulated these visuals that are running on our screens and the feelings of people, the family members who are at this point of time bereaving the loss of their loved ones. You're absolutely right. They are warriors. It's not the floral tributes they actually vie for. What they vie for is to do something of significance, of importance, of cruciality for the nation. And sacrificing their lives is the supreme sacrifice that they can give to the nation, to the people of our country. Major Ali Shah, the exact point that had been mentioned by Group Captain Anupam Banerjee rightfully said that while these are eyewitness accounts and they are going to be key to the evidences that are going to be garnered by the forensic teams, it does not actually give us a picture of what actually happened prior to the crash that took place.
Group Captain Anupam Banerjee is a qualified person in this, even though he's not a helicopter chopper aircraft. And I totally agree with him, and his analysis is perfect, it's bang on. All you can make out, if I have to use, I'm not qualified in this, but if I have to use my common sense, not as a soldier, but as any human being who has seen an air crash, or perhaps, let's imagine us, let's empathize us, if we are actually going in an aircraft, need not be a military aircraft, we are up in the air. And that aircraft, be it fixed wing or helicopter, we are in air right now, okay? and the aircraft bangs into a tree, for example, I'm giving, or a mountain, or it has a problem. And thereafter, because that, or a short circuit happens, the aircraft catches fire. And then what will we do before us? First thing we'll do is, instead of the aircraft fire coming and getting onto us, we will try jumping off the aircraft, because we know if we do not jump, we will die. Definitely, we will get burned to death, which is indeed a very, very painful death. You can see the body which is charged beyond recognition. Now, and if we jump, okay, it will be perhaps there could be one, and fire catches on within milliseconds.
Absolutely.
Seconds is too long. Milliseconds. So when such an incident occurred, imagine you and I, we are just going in an aircraft, we have our seatbelt on, we are going, and suddenly, all of a sudden, this happens. How would we react? So I
There's
think
absolutely no time to react. You're absolutely right. And what a scary situation to be in, Mohammad Ali Shah. And I can only imagine what General Bipin Rawat and all those other 12 occupants of the chopper must be facing. I will have to thank all my panelists once again for joining me on the broadcast and sharing their important analysis and dissection of the situation that arises out of the brutal, fatal crash that has taken place yesterday in